That's all it was. It was a very comfortable set, and Ryan's wonderful to work with in that regard. It was, yeah.
When they say stay away from kids and animals, you went with insects. Grayson doing the roach wrangling. What was that about? Is that, did you drug a roach and just make it stand there? Seemed to be a well-behaved roach.
Right. Yeah, well, he was great. He was a professional. No, yeah, we just caught one and just kind of held on to it, and then Grayson, which I know is probably not, ethical, I don't know. But it was, yeah, Grayson on set, he was kind of on set producer and kind of AD, so he was running around doing a lot of stuff, and that was one of the things that he jumped in and helped out. He kind of held on to that and made sure we kind of would place the roach with a pan over it, and then we'd take the pan off and have the camera and just get the shot. So, and then if it tried to get away, he'd catch it again. And it was fun. We let him go afterwards, and it was all good. Not in the house.
You wouldn't want the union to come down. Great. Thanks, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get to the Outband. It's a fun concept. So, very different story. Can you tell us about how that came about?
Okay, so this definitely that story is about alcohol. Yeah, relating to the alcohol. So when I was a university student, by the way, I'm from Japan, and when I was a university student in Japan, I really loved to drink alcohol with my friends. Usually, students are really
Sure.
Yeah. And so definitely, I really wanted to make some kind of alcoholic movie, the story.
Sure.
Then after graduation, I worked at a toy company in Japan for a few years. Then our products was, for example, Power Rangers. Then after I moved to LA, I was thinking, maybe I can combine these two ideas, which I really love and which I worked on. So the Power Ranger style and alcohol. Mm-hmm. But definitely a movie should have really a deep theme, I believe. So yeah, it's a kind of funny, crazy fantasy science fiction, but still there is a specific theme which I wanted to tell. That's family love. So after I came here again, so definitely my family is in Japan. So I finally realized how they love me very much. Yeah. And so, I want to tell that theme in that crazy story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. How do you feel like you accomplished your first conception of the idea and the finished product?
Yeah. So I was a director and also writer. Uh-huh. So I wrote that by myself. And
had you directed before?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
University. Yeah.
Yes. And then one is visual effect. Yeah. So there are tons of visual effect in there, and unfortunately, I had no money to hire anyone, so I did all visual effect by myself, taking 1 year.
Oh.
Yeah.
You taught yourself this process?
Excuse me?
Did you teach yourself?
I knew how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, let me do that because, I had no money. So I hired him by myself for free. Yeah. And so definitely originally it looks just the green material, the green mat on the suit, superhero suit. But after post-production, 1 year after that, I satisfied with the image.
Uh-huh.
And another thing is casting. Again, I was a casting director, so...
you hired yourself for that?
Yeah. And maybe some of you realize, but I was a ramen shop staff. Here you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, something. I was acting, so I had a name.
How did you come across Jeff?
Yeah.
He's a Playhouse member.
So he applied this project, and we met. So he was working in Japan a few years as a military, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So definitely he has the kind of the taste or smell, the style of Japanese whatever the visual art, especially anime. So this is actually the kind of Power Ranger style, yeah, superhero style. But I didn't want to make like a really Hollywood superhero, like a kind of cheap, not cheap, but you know, the Power Ranger. Sometimes we realize, oh, wait a minute, I saw like a chap, the zipper on his suit or the shoes wherever. So he's definitely not a monster. Someone is wearing something, but it's okay. It's that style. So I want to make that a kind of style movie. Then he totally understands that, and also like a emotional expression is kind of different from Hollywood style and the Japanese style. It's more a little bit exaggerated. For example, when she says, Sophia says, "I'm the tomato ninja," something.
Sure.
It's, yeah, we can believe it, but more like anime style.
Sure.
Yeah. So casting wise, yeah, he did the Jeff. He did a really good performance, and also the casting his daughter. So he is a father, and his wife is Japanese. So we were looking for Japanese American like mixed minor. That was very hard. Oh my God, how long does it take? It's crazy. However, the first day we did the audition, she shows up, and we were like, oh, maybe we can finish audition.
Sure.
Right now. Yeah. She is definitely the American and Japanese mix, and so that means not only like a race thing, but also like an idea of Japanese culture. Definitely she knew. Yeah. So I picked her.
And so when you, Sophia, you got the role, what inspired you about the material? What spoke to you about the material when you got the script and read it?
I just liked how it incorporated like Japanese culture, and it's really special to me because my mom is Japanese and we go there a lot.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And so had you worked with Jeff, how did you guys work together? Was there a lot of rehearsals involved beforehand?
Yeah, there was a lot because we had stunt training, and then we had like the rehearsal where we rehearsed like the script and the scenes. So.
And so the stunt training, had you ever done anything like that before?
No, never.
Can you talk about that? What were the challenges with doing that?
Most of the movements were new to me, so I was very sore afterwards.
You got to eat a lot of ramen, though.
Yeah.
But it seemed like you had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome, great, thank you. Yes.
About Jeff and her, so their relationship is really deep, I believe, and also really close. Like they met on the first day of the table read, but actually some of my crew asked me, hey, they're like actual father and daughter, so they build up that kind of relationship.
Sure.
That helped me, the director, a lot. So I really appreciate that, Jeff and her.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Go to Caretaker. Is it true that this started in the production class, the story of it? Can you talk about how, from the beginning of that, and then how it turned into the short film?
Sure, yeah, the lead actor, William Noble, wrote the piece for the production class. We were in that class together. For those of you who don't know about the production class, it's Kathleen Rendazzo and Doug Van Bever teach a 5-month-long intensive where a group of students all write, produce, direct, and star in their own one-act plays. It is grueling, incredibly time-intensive, and you will learn a tremendous amount about yourself as a creative person and as a collaborator in it. I had nothing to do with his play when it went up. I didn't direct it for the class. I wasn't in it. I had nothing. I just watched it happen.
Sure.
I think maybe I moved a prop or two on the night. But other than that, he reached out 2 years almost after it went up, wanting to finally put it on film. And he reached out to me to DP it. And I said yes, and like I said during the last block, I used the fact that I said yes to then ask him for something. I asked him who was directing. He said no one yet. I said, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Because I loved the story. I thought it was really powerful. It was a great relationship between the caretaker and her charge, who at the beginning of the film is also a caretaker of his own, which is sort of the double meaning of the title.
When he came to you with the script from the play, and then what ended up on screen, was there a change that happened, or is it stayed pretty true to the play?
It was close to the play, honestly, because the play it's in 3 tight little segments. I think at the end of the day, it was probably cut down a little more for the screen, because there's a lot more downtime where characters aren't talking and he's either waking up or going through his little toothbrushing routine. But the one thing I think we changed on the day was your monologue.
After we shot it about 3 times, they're like, she's saying it wrong. Kim, you're saying it wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm saying exactly like it is in the script. And they go, we didn't give her the revised script.
Oops.
So they handed it to me and they said, well, we got about 5 minutes.
Fortunately, there was a family in the hotel room. That was just a hotel room. Something like that. A hotel room next door that was checking out the morning that we were shooting her monologue. So they kept interrupting us with all kinds of noise, tons of kids. They were playing out in the hallway while the parents were cleaning up. So she got a ton of takes that we couldn't even use. She had plenty of practice by the time the family left and we were able to shoot it for real.
Right. So they gave you 5 minutes, and talk about how maybe some of your training helped you to kind of take that in and get it done.
So really, this is the first bit of acting I've done for a year after I left the school. And really, this is the first thing, and Wolf, you pounded this into my head, Kim, relax. Relax, you just gotta relax, it's fine. So that's what I did, is I sat there, I took a deep breath, and I read the material, and worked with my partners, who were very generous and patient, even though we didn't have much time, and what we got was what we set out to get.
Great. Did you do the play also? Were you involved in that? No.
No, so I knew William from the first production class, and so I didn't meet Daniel till the day of.
So you took the production class before?
I took the first production class with William, and then, kind of going back to this say yes thing, he emailed me out of the blue and was like, hey, I want to shoot this thing, it's just going to be for my reel, no big deal, are you available next week? And I was like, sure, let's do it. So it's just say yes.
Yes.
Here we go 2 years later, I'm in the world's most unflattering scrubs on this giant screen behind me.
Well, tell us about your experience in the production class. What do you feel like you learned through that process?
So I think the biggest thing I learned in the production class, hi Tori, got to direct Tori, was that by being assigned different roles, and that is, stagehand, director, actor, writer, that I actually enjoyed directing more than I did acting. And in that class, I think I directed 3 or 4 of the plays and didn't want to act in any more of them. So just trying something different, saying yes.
Sure.
Finding something I actually enjoyed more.
Being challenged differently.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much.
Most students in that class only direct 1 or 2 in the run, so that she did that many that's a lot of work.
She just took over.
That's a lot of work.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Do we have some questions for this group? Any questions?
Don't forget yous.
No? Yes, Ed.
I'm just always interested to hear some of the behind-the-scenes problems that came up unexpectedly and how you guys handle those to put together such wonderful projects. It's always helpful for filmmakers. What to expect and how to fix them.
It's good. So everyone have an anecdote of overcoming a challenge in the production of it.
I don't know why we thought this was a good idea, but I actually drank all of those root beers. And I realize now there's so many ways that I could have avoided that. But when you are doing wardrobe, hair, makeup, you're starring, you're also kind of a PA, and you're playing a crazy character like Charlie Chaplin, that's the last thing you think about. And I still to this day have never drank a root beer again. And
at the end of the day, you spoke about your relationship with the director. How did that eventually play out? Did you guys find a nice working ground to working relationship, or was it contentious all the way through?
no, it wasn't. It worked out really nice. I think it just comes down to, we all look at something, we all have a different viewpoint on things. And it's a matter of getting everybody in a room and trying to share your opinion on something, but also keeping your ears open. So when she came to me with her sort of idea board for Charlie, it was like those really bad Halloween costumes where like it was like a girl in a really short skirt with like a sexy tie and like a top hat with a lip. And she was like, "So this is Charlie." And I was like, "What? No, that's not Charlie." So it was a way of being like, okay, I hear you, I see why you would have that idea and have that process, because I am female.
Sure.
And I identify as female. But we're actually going to go this way. And I think it was challenging all around, but it made for better performances, and I think that it made for a better storyline, and it told my story. I felt like it told your story, and again, kind of like what you were saying, like for me, what was interesting about the mustache falling off moment was like, doesn't matter who you are, what gender you identify as or born as or whatever it is, like you can find love exactly as you are. So that little tender moment of like Red just like putting the mustache back on Charlie's face was that for me.
Sure.
And it kind of, for me, the intention stemmed from, if you've ever seen the film The Lobster, where everyone tries their hardest to conform to this idea because they're like, if I don't fall in love and if I don't find love, I'm going to turn into a very strange animal. So I think too, it's that idea that like we try and find ways to like be perfect for another person, and that was kind of Charlie's struggle there. So I think once I was able to convey that to the director, and she heard me and I heard her, it was like, it made for a really great day. So I think there's something to be learned in like putting your foot down, but with respect, and also with like the intelligence behind it. You can't put your foot down if you don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Were you part of that too, Aubrey? Were you surprised when you saw the vision as well?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
completely. Simply because I had originally based the story off a specific person who the way she's portrayed in the film is much closer to the specific person that I was trying to emulate, and not actually Charlie Chaplin, like someone who just is a modern day Charlie Chaplin. And so she actually knows him, so that was easier for her to sort of understand the character as well. But I actually was very taken aback by the proposal that she had given us with the wardrobe, and I kind of ended up being kind of silent because I didn't know how to defend something that was very true to me and something that had been a passion project that I'd written in class years prior, and she was able to sort of stand up and say, I'm not wearing that.
Don't mess with Carlita.
And so I was very grateful to have a friend who knew exactly what I was looking for in the moment and sort of say, there's no way, which was kind of great. And she's right, it turned out to be a great working process. It was only 2 days to shoot, and we ended up getting everything done in the 2 days with time to spare. And there is something to be said for shooting without sound. It's way less work. We can yell at each other while you're, I'm gonna be like, roll, stand up, and nobody can hear me, which is kind of great.
Sure.
But
it's a great story in terms of, it's amazing anything gets done. There's so many people. In terms of a movie, there's so many moving parts, so many people involved that have their creative vision. And, It's amazing anything gets done, and it's good. But it's finding that ability to be professional about how you communicate what you feel is best. You'll have to make compromises at times, you know, and look, sometimes it doesn't work out. And that's, that's okay also, as long as it's handled professionally. And, you don't want to work on something that doesn't talk to you, that you're not going to have fun doing. So, we just have to be able to navigate that, and each project is different. So, excellent. Was there another, or did you have a fun story?
Yeah, so the challenging. Basically the filmmaking everything is challenging. And I believe whenever I direct a movie, I feel like, oh, maybe I'm not making film. This is a problem solving all the time. Yeah, problem solving. But the biggest challenge in our production was definitely superhero costume. Yeah. And I needed very iconic suit, like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. Everyone has, okay, this design is this movie, this character. So I hired the one professional costume designer, and also he supposed to make it 2 months before our shooting. And 5 days before the shooting, you can imagine that he disappeared. With the money and suit, everything. Oh, no. Whoa. And okay, in 5 days, I already spent all money for the costume wardrobe, so I had no money. So who can do this crazy job in 5 days without sleeping, without money? Only me. Well, okay, solving problem. Okay, so I must do that. So I also credited as a costume designer and a maker. I did everything. And also, so we had about 1 week shooting, and every day my actors wore the costume, so I believe that was so hard. And basically that was from the scuba diving suit.
Yeah.
It's so hard to move, but they did fighting karate style.
They get hot too. They get very hot.
Very. I actually got a heat rash
Oh, no.
from it, so.
For the craft. It's for the craft. Did you find the guy?
Huh?
Did you end up finding the wardrobe person?
No.
No, he's still.
No. I saw some online oh, he's still doing something in this industry, but
Yeah.
okay, let it go. That's why.
Did you guys have a fun story a challenge you had to overcome?
Nothing that drastic or anything like that. There was just, I think everything went pretty well. There was just that longer shot with Dills where he's at the counter and then he walks over to the window and the camera kind of comes around and it's a long shot. It was on this rig thing that had this autofocus piece thing for something or other.